Welcome, everybody, to the Rye Town Council meeting of October 20th, 2022. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Heavenly Father, bless the assemblage. Grant us the wisdom to make every decision fair-minded and in the best interest for all its residents. Amen.
And please remain standing again. I'd like to observe a moment of silence in memory of Carol Truance, our Deputy Receiver of Taxes, a longtime Town of Rye employee who passed away just the other week. Thank you. Hope, do you want to say anything about Carol before we go on? I know you were very close to her.
I like for her to be honored for her tremendous dedication to the town of Rye. So many people are reaching out to me with such sadness because the service that she gave to everyone, the attorneys, the real estate people, the title searchers, and most of all the customers. And they all say the same thing. She was sweet and caring, compassionate, had so much patience. And we're all sad, and all of us in the office. We miss her deeply.
Yes, we do. And thank you very much. Roll call, please.
Councilperson Pamela Jaffe. Here. Councilperson Jill Axelrod. Here. Councilperson Thomas Nardi.
Here.
Councilperson Lindsay Ann Jackson.
Here.
And Supervisor Gary Zuckerman.
Here. First item is adoption of the minutes of September the 15th, 2022. If there are no objections, corrections, deletions, etc., may I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. A resolution to set the date for a public hearing on local law number 4 of 2022. This is a local law that grants a partial tax exemption for seniors and raises the, actually we have a partial tax exemption for seniors. This local law raises the annual income limits to $50,000. This law was passed by the state of New York and to my knowledge has been adopted by the Board of Legislators for the county tax. We are proposing to adopt this law for the town tax, and the various school districts and villages will need to adopt this local law for their taxes at their discretion. This motion tonight is simply to call for a public hearing at the next meeting, wherein we will have the public hearing and hopefully act on the local law. So are there any questions? If not, may I have a motion to set the public hearing on local law number 4 for, what is the date, November 17th.
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Please call the roll, Hope.
Councilperson Jaffe.
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod.
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi.
Yes.
Councilperson Jackson.
Yes.
Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes. The next item is a resolution to approve the application for a grant under the Hudson River Valley Greenway program for Crawford Park. It's an educational signage project. Debbie, briefly tell us what this is about.
Yes, we are, as you know, part of the mission of Crawford Park is to invite all in. The town has a consistent commitment to sustainability. We would use this grant as an education program to create signage for native flora and fauna at Crawford Park, the signs will be posted on essentially a self-guided walking tour of native plants and animals. And the signage will be equipped with a QR code, which will connect people with our website where they can learn about flora and fauna. The example that we're modeling this program is after the native plant treasure hunt that was co-sponsored by the Sustainability Committee and the Rye Brook Roots and Shoots Club several years ago. And so we're basically taking inspiration from that model, and we're blowing it up into a much more permanent installation.
And how much are we applying for on the grant?
I don't know the sum at this point. Do you
It's a
recall?
matching grant up to 10,000.
Okay. So it's not a major, but that's a substantial amount of money for that. Pam, as head of our sustainability committee, would you like to comment?
Well, I was really pleased when Debbie brought this up and to find out that she's been working with Dave at Millennium Partners on this grant, because I know that they are always keeping their eyes open for sustainability opportunities. We've had a couple of meetings so far with Vic and his team to talk about what we've done already in Crawford Park, and it's rather phenomenal how much, plantings and how much dedication to wildlife exists in this small piece of our community that perhaps people walking through don't know about. Sorry. So I do love the idea of bringing it home and giving people just the opportunity to teach themselves about the environment they live in and what good we can do right here on the local level.
And this, like
Tommy?
schools, elementary schools and stuff can go, like for a field trip and stuff and do that?
Sure.
Part of
What a
what
great
we
idea.
do
That's good.
is
Yeah.
reach out to the local school districts, let them know about it, actually ask for help from students.
Mhm.
And doing the research and writing it up. We're gonna build a website so that you can just shoot the QR code and learn online.
Yeah, and those that are in high school can probably get community service credit for it.
Precisely, we're talking, I know Blind Brook has the end of the year where they're supposed to work, like 5 weeks? This would be a great opportunity for a high school biology student who
Yeah.
needs to put in 5 weeks of pro bono work. So,
Great, all right. Without further comment, Hope, please call the roll.
Councilperson Jaffe?
do we need to first and second?
Yeah, we didn't take a
Oh,
motion.
Make a motion.
Thank you.
I thought maybe.
Motion, please, and a second.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Now please call
Now.
the roll. I got
Councilperson
ahead of
Jaffe?
myself.
Yes, you got excited.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Jackson?
Yes.
And Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes.
I thought I missed it because I'm a little emotional.
No, it's me, I jump over things. But I know you'll all catch me. Our next resolution is supporting the Clean Water, Air, and Green Jobs Environmental Bond Act. This item actually came to us directly from the county. County Executive George Latimer requested that we do this, and I believe also Steve Otis did. The county has already passed this, and they sent us the form to use. So let me have a motion and a second, please.
Well, can I just make,
Motion and second first.
oh, okay, I just wanted to make a comment
You
about
bet.
the motion. Okay, I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Comments?
I did just want to mention, I am the committee coordinator for the Environment, Energy, and Climate Committee at the Board of Legislators. We had extensive discussion about this. And one thing I want to remind people is that when you are voting, you have to flip over the ballot in order to vote for this. It's been 50 years since we've had an opportunity like this to really see transformative change, and it's very important that people educate themselves and see how much this can do for us. And as I said, just most importantly, make sure to flip over the ballot before you leave the voting booth.
Yep, and the county executive has come up with a wonderful PSA as well.
Yes.
Really fun, involving neighborhood faces and people, reminding people to flip the ballots.
Yes.
So.
It's just, yeah.
I've seen a diagrammatic of that.
Jones there.
Can we put that on our website?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Website and across social media would be fabulous.
right.
And honestly, if anyone can post it on their own socials and spread it to your friends, it's important.
Sounds good.
Call the roll?
Sure. Councilperson Jaffe?
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Jackson?
Yes.
Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes. Next resolution is authorizing us, actually the town administrator, to enter into a service agreement with ClearGov. We discussed this last month about going forward with that, and this is the actual resolution. May I have a motion and a second?
I'll make the motion.
Second,
I'll second.
discussion?
I actually just wanted just a couple of quick questions. The first one is, I'm assuming that it'll be less next year, because we do have to pay for, it's an annual fee, correct?
It's an annual fee. There's a separate onboarding fee,
Setup
which won't
fee.
repeat.
Correct.
And I would add that this rate is locked in for 5 years.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and this starts next year. This is for our.
This is for the 2023 budget, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
We're getting an early start.
Now, how many years back are we going for them?
As many as we would like.
As many as we like. How many do, we haven't discussed or we haven't
The
decided
planning
on yet?
really hasn't started at all,
Okay.
Tom.
Yep.
You said minimum of 5 years.
5 years,
but
yeah.
we could go 20 plus if we really wanted to.
Yeah, but that seems like a little too much work, yeah.
Yeah.
I think 5 years back is good, yeah. Okay,
All right,
yep.
we have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Councilperson Jaffe,
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod,
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi,
Yes.
Councilperson Jackson,
Yes.
Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes. Our next item is authorizing the town to enter into a contract with MTS Infrastructure regarding the South Barry Avenue Bridge over Guyon Creek. This is for road work. We are responsible for that bridge entirely, as opposed to some of our other bridges, which we share with, mostly with the village of Amerenik, and one bridge with the town of Amerenik as well. So this is to repair portions. This is not to make new, this is to repair portions of the roadway and walkways. Lindsay, this should make you happy because this is in Rhinebeck.
Very much so. This went through a bidding process, correct?
It's a very small amount, so it meets the town procurement policy. We have 3 written bids.
Okay.
No,
think it's
motion and a
great.
second, please.
I'll make the motion.
Second. I'll second the motion.
Please call the roll.
Councilperson Jaffe,
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod,
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi,
Yes.
Councilperson Jackson, and
Yes.
Supervisor Zuckerman.
Yes. Next resolution is for the council to authorize the purchase of IT equipment for the town justice court, and the equipment is listed in the resolution, totaling $49,690, almost $50,000. I believe this was originally wasn't in the budget last year. Is this in the '22 budget?
We didn't put it into the 2022 budget because we thought we could buy ourselves an extra year without having to do so, and we did. But
Yeah.
now it's
Yeah.
time.
So the money's going to be transferred from?
Given that amount, I think
It would be a capital?
Well, it's definitely capital.
It's gonna fall into the capital along with the improvements that are made to the court.
Okay.
And do they know approximately how long this is gonna last before it's outdated?
I mean,
Does anybody?
Yeah, well, that's, you know.
No, I'm just wondering about and I get where Tommy's going with this, the lifespan of the scanners. You know, are we amortizing for longer than the lifespan of the actual hardware? And then talking about managed backup, so I'm assuming,
It's typically gonna be like a 5-year, amortization period, so.
We're owning this or we leasing this?
Owning.
only.
We're owning it,
So technically, if it's in good shape, we don't have to change it. Like
yeah.
the last one, I remember we upgraded a lot of equipment
Yes, we did.
when we first took office, and now that's 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think we'll be
it's-
talking about a server upgrade very shortly for the town. But this is for the
This is
judges.
only
This
for
is
the
for
court.
the justice, yes. Okay.
Okay, and the administrative judge reviewed this, and I'm sure he's totally aware of it.
Okay.
Motion and a second, please.
Um,
Any, motion and a second, then we'll take additional comments. Motion and a second, please.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, and any additional comments?
No?
No? Okay. Please call the roll.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Jackson?
Yes.
And Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes. The next item is appointment of a court clerk for the Town of Rye Justice Court. And as many of you are aware, we are short one clerk due to the resignation of one of our clerks. And we have 3 clerks right now, and we're short one. We're authorized for 4 clerks. And the person appointed, at the request of, I just want to make it very clear, at the request of Judge Provenzano, who actually called me to suggest this, is Ashley Vespia of Rybrook at an annual salary of $79,500. And Ashley, in total transparency, is the daughter of Clerk Hope Vespia, and Hope had nothing whatever to do with this. In fact, she was very surprised when I
Yes.
called and told her. So, a motion and a second, please.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Are there any comments or questions?
Can I make a comment?
You may make a comment, of course.
No, I do. I just also want to say that I know personally and professionally hope to be the most above board, honest person to exist, I would think. I don't think that's hyperbole. And I think it will be a privilege and an honor to have anyone with the last name Vespia coming to work for us. And if her mother's work ethic and abilities are any indication, she will be fantastic. So
Thank you.
just want to put that on the record.
I appreciate
Thank
that.
you. Thank you.
Of course. Seconded.
Okay. Please call the roll.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod? I don't-
Yes. Lindsay moved
And
yes.
and Tommy, yeah. Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Jackson?
Yes.
And Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes. Next item, our last resolution is, this is a repeat, authorizing the town to enter into a contract with Lead Vantage for professional development and conflict resolution. I know that there was some controversy last month when we discussed this. Before we even get into a motion in a second, do we want to take comments from any of the board members? Then may I have a motion and a second? Please call the roll.
Councilperson Jaffe?
Yes.
Councilperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Councilperson Nardi?
Yes.
Councilperson Jackson?
Yes.
And Supervisor Zuckerman?
Yes, thank you. And now our reports. Denise, are you on? I saw Denise. There she is. She's at the park.
Thank you. Okay, so.
Denise, we can't hear
Yep.
Try now.
You're good?
Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can't
You
hear.
want to get Patrick in? He was playing with that before.
Oh, because someone probably turned that off, that's why. Probably went to sleep after all that inactivity. Go ahead.
But I turned this
No, but that was all. Go ahead. Speak.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Denise, can you hear us?
I can hear you, yes.
We can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. So, basically to report just 2 things, what we've been talking about, the increases in the senior aged income limits, so that's keeping us all busy at the moment. And the 15th of October was the last day for people to file SCARs with the county. And then they have another 10 days to file with us, 10 days after they file. Many wait till the last minute. So basically that takes them till October 25th. And at that time, a few days later, we'll have a better idea of how many people have filed, because they do file many paper copies with Hope. So we'll coordinate with Hope and the SCAR court to get the tallies on that. And we're assuming that the commercial cert filings will be relatively the same as last year, and the residential numbers seem to be down, but it always amazes us how many we end up getting at the last minute. But it looks like we're sitting in a good position at the moment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Crawford Park?
Good evening. I'm not sure which, this one, right? Okay, all right, put this one down. Okay. So, an update for all of you. Again, we continue to have all of our numbers rise across all the categories. So to start, the number of inquiries we have received this year to date is I'm sorry to say, this is last month's report. Well, I could take you through the numbers, or we could try to reload it. What would you like to do?
Just talk to us.
Go through the numbers. You got it. Okay. Forget the, the presentation. So last month, we were at 341. In terms of inquiries, we are now up to 376. We're getting roughly 38 inquiries a month. We have received 49 inquiries for events to be booked next year. And unfortunately, we had 44 people we had to turn away because the dates were not available. As far as our bookings go, last month we were up to 221 bookings. We are now up to 243 events on the books. It is actually 65% of the inquiries that we received. So I think we're doing pretty well there. We've already executed 190, and we still have 53 more to go, and we're still taking reservations. Okay.
This goes, how far? This is not just for this year. This goes into 2023, I assume.
In terms of the bookings, yes. And actually, we have 2 booked for 2024 at this point. The revenue, we are up again. Last month was 242. We are up to 263,000 in revenue, which does not include security deposits or event staff gratuities. And last month there were some questions as to the percentage of revenue by location. So what I can share with you is that with the mansion, it's 63% of the revenue. The pavilion is 24% of the revenue, and the sports fields are 13%. Pretty much what I think we all would have assumed would be the case. Waiving our fees.
Let me interrupt you 1 minute. Have you heard any informal discussion, now that it's the fall, that people have asked if we have plans to heat the pavilion, or they would like to see that done? Do you have any information with regard, because as you all know, we're considering
Yeah.
heating it, so it would be nice if we knew that there was some demand for that.
I mean, I think there is definitely interest. People will say to us, well, how much longer can we book in the pavilion? And right now it's really up to the weather, because we have to turn the water off as soon as it really starts to get cold. But I think there's definitely interest on the part of the community. It's a very well enjoyed space. I know the schools really enjoy it. I mean, last year, and they're repeating it again this year, Park Avenue School has a Halloween party, costume party in the pavilion, and last year it was great, so they're coming back again. I would tend to think if we had an enclosure of sorts, they could probably extend it through the holidays for the school, because we offer them a different place other than the school auditorium, plus it's beautiful. So I don't think
The question I
anyone-
have, when people ask about it and say, how long will it go? The next question would be, if it were heated, would you want to rent it, you know, further into the season, into November, December, let's say up to the holidays? I wouldn't contemplate January and February. Those are kind of frigid months, but certainly, you know, up through Christmas, possibly.
I'll share it with the staff, so when they're doing tours, they could also get the information. Okay? Okay, so to date, the revenue that we have waived is $216,000, which is up from $197 last month. They have already booked 90 events, and so the average cost that we're waiving is roughly $2,400 per event. The biggest fans of coming to Crawford are the Portchester School System, the Village of Rybrook, and the Board of Elections.
All right. Questions? Anyone?
No?
You go.
Lindsay?
No, I had a nice discussion with one of my colleagues on the board, Tommy, and his brother was involved in a high school. You can explain it better.
Yeah, my brother had his high school reunion. Well, actually, it wasn't a reunion, it was 60th birthday. And the thing that they were upset about, they had a great time. It was phenomenal. It was the gratuity. And at 20% on top of the whole bill, we felt it was excessive. And wanting to know how many people were employed that day, because they had an outside company that came that put the linens on the table, served, did everything.
Right.
The people that worked did their job. They kept the place neat, they did the garbage cans, that was their responsibility. But to pay almost $400 for gratuity, he felt was excessive. For when he has a separate company coming in to do it, I don't know if he called you or anything.
No,
and I don't
no,
mean,
actually, he didn't.
He didn't?
He didn't.
See, now I gotta have a discussion with him, because he was supposed to call you.
I mean, when we decided on the 18%, that was based on a standard venue gratuity.
I have a more important question, and my question is, why was the board cut out of the decision on gratuity? I think
You-
it's
you-
important
No.
No,
because,
it was brought up. We've mentioned it in many of
but
the.
the increase in gratuity
Yeah,
was never discussed, and, you know, unfortunately, when issues arise, we're the ones who get the call. So it would be nice to know ahead of time what we're being called about.
Yeah, like I said, my brother didn't realize until afterwards, because the person that you were in contact with he didn't realize, and it was afterwards, and he saw the contract and waiting to get the deposit back, and he
Yeah.
saw what the gratuity was, he like hit the ceiling. It was like,
I
because,
wish he
but-
would have called. I mean, we
yeah, he
certainly
told me he
worked
was gonna
with him
call
on
you.
that.
So now he's
Yeah.
gonna get a phone call tonight. So,
Okay.
but I
Please
think
have
we
him
feel, I
call.
feel we have to decide, with the gratuity, because, he doesn't know how many people were working, whether it was 2, 3, 4, he doesn't know, And if it's 2 people and they're there for 4 hours, that's kind of, being paid by the town and plus getting that type of a tip, it's a little excessive, especially when they have their own company coming in, taking care of the majority of the needs.
Well,
So
Tommy, I think we could review that,
No,
because
yeah.
you raise an interesting issue, because the gratuity may be different, or it may possibly should be different, if we're providing no services or very few services except being there for oversight, as opposed to being there and cleaning up and things like that.
Yeah.
So I think that can be reviewed.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they had a great time, they loved the place was spotless, whatever guys and girls that were working,
glad to
they
hear
did
that.
their job.
Yeah.
And even the other events, even ones I've been here and other people, never have a complaint about the people not working. They're doing their job.
Good.
I mean, I do think, and again, like I said, I was just disappointed that we weren't informed of the increase.
What,
Well-
wait, may I interrupt you?
Yeah.
It's not that we increased it, there never was a gratuity. And we had discussed it, if I recall, that we checked what the other venues typically do, and that's how we arrived at the 18%.
I wanted to add a couple of thoughts to what Camille was saying. The experience that the management that we had is that it's not that there was no gratuity. Gratuities were being paid and have been since I started working here to the park attendants, the people who work.
Yes.
But it was handled entirely inconsistently, and we had enormous problems with the visible people pocketing cash
Yeah.
and the invisible people being forgotten, and then lots of conflict and bad feelings about people who work their hearts out and found that it was not being handled fairly, or they were not receiving gratuities at all.
Don't get me
So-
wrong, I'm not against a gratuity. I'm against when you have an outside vendor coming in doing 90% of the work, and then our guys are doing
Well-
only 10-15% of the work.
don't-
That's what it is. It's not the, it's not that they're not entitled to it, and I think it's fair that we put a gratuity on there and divide it fairly, but if you're gonna have 2 or 3 and they're gonna end up with $200 for 4
No, that
hours,
doesn't
that's.
And that's, that,
You know,
it
That
is,
won't happen.
I
doesn't happen like that.
Doesn't
Well, no,
happen.
I don't, like I said, I don't know how many, we don't know as a board, we don't know how many people are at the party that we have.
Yeah, sure.
And then I know it depends on the size of the party, how many people you hired for that event. But if it's an event where somebody's renting, you're having their own people come in and doing the linens and cleaning all that stuff up, you don't need as many people.
Well, I would like to make a comment. You're talking about a caterer,
A
I'm
caterer
assuming.
coming, yes.
Okay. The only thing our staff doesn't do is handle food and beverage, basically, because they're not trained. But in terms of an outside company coming in and doing 90% of the work, in all fairness, they take care of the food area. Our guys, it's a lot of heavy lifting. It's
I'm not saying
set
that.
up, break down garbage, bathrooms. It is a lot, and a lot of it is not seen.
Well, I know, believe me, I know what they're doing, but when you have, like, with their case, they had people serving them,
But we would never be. Our
We've
staff
never-
Yeah,
would never be
I know you never
serving.
have anybody doing that in
Tommy,
there.
Tommy, with all
But-
due respect, you, me, the rest of the board, don't know on an individual event
No.
who's doing what, who's cleaning up. I mean, you can get a report from a brother or a friend. I was at this event and we had people doing it, but you don't know because Camille and, the staff are doing certain things and you are not aware of it. In fact, your brother or any other person might not be aware of all the other work that goes on behind the scenes, not serving beverages, not necessarily taking the tablecloths off. But there may be extra cleaning that has to be done if they don't do a good job in doing that. So we just don't know. But the one thing I'll say is, we could look into it
Yeah.
and maybe treat certain things differently if we have a caterer.
Yeah.
Or make it more clear in our contract what the caterer is responsible for, and if they don't do it, they don't get their deposit back.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds fair. I have no problem with that.
Gary, to your point, when you said, you spoke about having a responsibility, I have a major concern because I think we as a board have a responsibility to make sure that the use of the park is equitable and that we have established rates for park rentals and events that are fair to the taxpayers who ultimately support the park and who have supported this renovation. And this has nothing to do with park staff. I very much appreciate them. But, you know, I've been told for about 2 or 3 weeks that someone from accounting was going to reach out to me, maybe I misunderstood, to discuss what we would like to see to sort of get a gauge on or an overall estimate of what it costs the town to host an event and have a broader discussion about the cost paid out
That
to
is
the
in-
rentals.
That is a project in the making. We will have it prepared for the next budget meeting.
And again,
Yeah.
like I said, it doesn't have to be to the T. I just
No,
want to.
it does, really,
No.
because it's a tedious process, and if we're going to go through the exercise, we want to make sure we're
Yeah.
giving the right information.
Yeah, and like I said, I
Yeah.
just want to know staff-wise, is basically all usage of materials, whether it be, you know, we purchase hangers, we purchase tablecloths, et cetera. We want to get a grasp on that to make sure that we're giving an equitable opportunity for all of our town residents to be able to use a spark. And I understand you guys have a great demand, and that, you know, I don't know how you juggle that, but I'm also a firm believer on the early bird catches the worm. So I would rather you have to turn down residents because you have so many that are willing and able to use the park for events, as opposed to, you know, sort of not having those residents feel, most especially, and have the opportunity to use the park for events. So I appreciate your work on that. Thank you very much.
We had a meeting to discuss this, and I know that Candy Mejia is systematically going through absolutely every contract and identifying the expenses,
Yes.
so that when we sit down and make a presentation to you,
And I
it
think
will be
most
thorough.
importantly, it should be an examination of staff, because that's our biggest expense, and how many staff members are there and what their hourly rate is, et cetera. That's something, you know, do we have 4 managers on an event, which I know you guys don't do at
No.
once, or, you know, but I do want to see, you know, all of that information.
I have one more thing. I'd like to know how the cafe is doing.
Well,
Are
the
we showing a
cafe's on
profit?
hiatus at the moment, right?
Are we showing a profit, we breaking even, or are we taking a loss?
I have the report.
What do you mean you don't have to step up? Come on, you get in the limelight, you get on the camera.
I need gets tossed around enough.
Yeah.
Vic, you want to speak to this? Who am I forgetting?
I would rather not spend time discussing this. We have these figures. We'll discuss it at our budget session. I
Okay.
think it's a more appropriate place.
I would like to give this to Hope, though, so that she can enter it into the record.
Sure.
Got one. Oh, I'll take an extra one then. Thank you.
Okay, I agree. We can postpone this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Camille. Vic, do you have anything for us?
Just a couple of minor things. We had a delivery of 12 trees, thanks to NIPA, Wednesday. We intend to place them in the ground. I think we removed 8 trees this year, so we're adding 4 trees. Because you always try and replace what you lost. We're picking specific areas, and they are native trees. We're keeping up with that. We've had 2 events in the last couple of weeks that were fundraisers for Ronald McDonald House, which wasn't a nice day, but it didn't rain. Usually they draw 300, 400 people. We probably drew 200 to 250 people. I know they said they had made $80,000 for their fundraiser that day. And then we had the cerebral palsy event, I think it was last Friday night, which was a real nice event. So besides that, just gearing up for the winter.
Are we gonna have a winter?
I hope not.
Thank you, Vic. Dave, do you have anything?
No.
Okay. And Nick, we have Nick's tax collections. I assume he does not need to appear?
Evening, Mr. Supervisor, I'm here, can you hear me?
Nick's report is submitted. The town clerk's report is submitted.
He is attending the meeting.
Hello?
He's not that. Jeff, any report from the town attorney?
Is he still on?
He's still there.
No, it seems like the speaker would wait, is idle for a few minutes and then it turns off, get it. I want it as a pet. It's good to know. Go ahead now. Just go ahead.
You want the fly?
Go ahead, Nick.
Nick, do you have anything to say to us?
Hello, good evening, can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Okay, Nicholas Mecca, receiver of taxes. There's just 2 points I want to bring up. Number one, school collections were nice and brisk, but we still had 471 taxpayers who did not make their first payments. I sent out notices and I would ask, please, that they clean it up, because the town doesn't keep this money. We send it to the school every month. As soon as we receive it, it goes. And they need that money to run their programs. So if you're one of the 471, please take care of it so that it's paid up in full for the first installment. And secondly, so far since April, we have had 3,113 taxpayers utilize our new portal, which I think is a nice substantial number, of which only 73 have pre-scheduled the payment, but it's brand new, so hopefully going forward that will increase. But I'm very happy with the performance of it, and I guess the people are too, seeing 3,000 use it, so I guess it's working well.
We
Okay.
should, yeah, we should continue to publicize it on our website and over social
Yeah.
media. All right, great.
Okay.
Thank you, Nick.
Any questions?
Not for me. Anybody on the board?
No.
Good evening.
All right. Good night.
See you in the morning.
Okay. That completes our agenda. May I have a motion to enter into executive session for personnel matter?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting, subject to our executive session?
Are we coming back after session?
We are not coming back after executive session, as far as I know.
Okay. So can we make quick comments? Would that be okay?
Yes, the comment section. Okay, before we adjourn, comments from the council members.
Okay.
All right, I just want to remind everybody about Election Day coming up, and especially early voting from October 29th to November 6th. It's not only our civic duty, it's a privilege that many people long for. So please go out and vote. And that's my
Thank you.
plea,
I'm
my
texting her
urgent
during the
plea.
media, or during the meeting, I'm like, I could talk about this, but I have to talk, I'm the one who has to talk about the mulchy stuff, so, mulchy stuff. It looks like November 18th is going to bring us our next community cleanup day, so everyone please do mark your calendars. Learn new things this week on the environmental front, one of which is that when you put out your recycling, dear neighbors, do not put your cans and bottles and whatnot in clear plastic bags. The county cannot recycle the bags and it becomes waste. Keep them loose. So that is my sustainability tip of the day. Last but not least, as you are doing your lawns and raking leaves, please mulch, please put them around your trees and create a habitat for native birds, insects, and for plants to grow next year. So that is your mulchy update for this meeting.
I have a question for you. You say clear plastic bags. What about those like white?
They will not
So it's not
recycle,
just
that
clear,
becomes
it's
trash.
any of
Any
the
bag.
standard
Any
plastic bags?
Any
Keep
plastic
it
bags.
loose. Keep it loose in a
You're talking
big,
about recycling?
Yes,
What about
recycling.
garbage?
garbage, keep in your white bag. But your cans, bottles, I think I said cans and bottles and whatnot.
You did.
Keep them loose.
Okay.
And that's per the county.
Also, strange facts, if you have a chance to get an email receipt, always do that because receipts are non-recyclable, the material.
What kind of receipts? Any receipts?
You know, like they come on that glossy paper. I read it's non-recyclable, so that's why when people ask you, they're like, would you like it emailed or an actual receipt? You should always choose email.
Good, very informative.
Very good.
Listening session.
Yeah,
And
We've
flip
learned a
the
lot
belly.
tonight.
because if you look at it, in fact, I have one in my wallet right now. It's like, you know, it's not real, it's a special type of.
What are you
You
gonna
don't want
do?
to see what happened the last time.
Yeah,
What are you gonna do with that receipt?
I'm gonna burn it.
I mean,
But-
they have 7 trees
Yeah.
down for me to know that.
Exactly.
For $2 off.
Is if you keep the receipt paper for a year, the text will completely fade off of it.
You could recycle it that
But
way.
the paper would stay forever.
Yeah, it's something with the way it's treated
All
that.
right, all right. All right, Tommy, anything?
Just go out and vote, and don't forget to flip the paper over. Okay? That's all I have to say.
All right, thank you. We're adjourned to executive session. Hope, I know you have to go anyway.
Yes.
Did I fulfill my promise?
Yes, you did, and I thank you.
Oh, I interrupted you, so we do have to move in second.
That's fine.
See you on Saturday.
Pardon me?